Hello, and welcome to my top 5 episodes of Once Upon a Time Season 4. I have been so excited to make this video because all of you know that Season 4, particularly Season 4 Part A, is my favorite part of Once Upon a Time. So I have so much to say about my top 5 favorite episodes, but before I get into the top 5, I have to give a shout out to 4 other episodes. And the episodes that I'm going to be giving shoutouts to are Whiteout, Sympathy for the DeVille, Operation Mongoose, and Poor Unfortunate Soul. Now, the reason why Whiteout didn't make it into the top 5 is I really didn't like the flashback. I absolutely loved the reveal of the Snow Queen, and I loved the beginning of Elsa and Emma's friendship. I thought that was so freaking amazing. That episode is so focused on Emma and Elsa, and Jennifer Morrison and Georgina Hagg were just so freaking awesome in their performances there. It was excellent. But the flashback, I really felt hindered it that when I was watching it, I'm like, mute, like, don't care, like, boring. And even when I rewatch it, I just go, skip, because I just don't like it. I understand its purpose in the grand scheme of life of the show, but for me as a viewer, not really that big of a deal. But the end of it, when it had Elizabeth Mitchell's Snow Queen lean on the freezer, and then that music when Elsa appeared at the end of Season 3, I thought that was freaking fantastic. I knew Elizabeth Mitchell was coming at that point, but I didn't know she was going to be in that particular episode. I thought she was going to be in the one after, but I loved the ending. I thought the ending was excellent. So that's why it's a shout out. Because as I said, the flashback I felt was kind of weak, but Emma and Elsa's storyline going on was excellent. And actually, in all fairness, even like Mary and Margaret dealing with a blackout, kind of dull. So that again, that's why it's in the shout out area. Then for the remaining 3, Sympathy for the DeVille, I think was one of the strongest episodes of Season 4 Part B. I think Season 4 Part B really lagged in comparison to Season 4A. The Frozen arc is just so well written, so well driven. It flows so much better, and I think that 4B had a lot of potential, but it just kind of went, like no one really knew what to do there. But I think Sympathy for the DeVille, because Victoria Smurfit is freaking amazing, the narration, the entire direction they took Cruella in, because Cruella was a villain for the sake of being a villain, she liked to kill because she's evil. Like, I loved it. It was fresh. Like, we don't actually have to feel bad for a villain. We can just love the fact that she's evil. And I think Victoria Smurfit is just so amazing as an actress. I love her. I think she's really great. And I thought Cruella was a fantastic character. That's also why I was so excited to see her come back in Season 5, Part B as well. So Cruella's backstory was really cool. Then essentially the same thing happened to Poor Unfortunate Soul. I think Poor Unfortunate Soul and Sympathy for the DeVille are 2 of the best episodes of Season 4 Part B. Now, I'm a fan of Little Mermaid. I think it's a really amazing Disney movie. In fact, it's my favorite Disney movie overall. I think Ursula kind of got the shaft of being the Queen of Darkness because she was essentially reformed within 4 episodes. She was very kind of underdeveloped, minus this episode where she really did get to shine. We learned her backstory, but it was essentially Ariel's backstory, which is why I liked the episode so much, because it reminded me so much of The Little Mermaid, and even Hook worked into this episode so well. Like, I mean, his interactions and backstory was really nice. Then, following that, I want to talk about Operation Mongoose. A lot of you know I don't really care for Operation Mongoose because so much of it was based on Jared Gilmore's performance, and I don't think Jared Gilmore is a strong enough actor to own an episode for that chunk of time. That episode's over an hour and 20 minutes long. Granted, we had Emma and Regina to kind of balance him out, but I really feel because it was so heavily focused on him, I, just as a viewer, not a fan of him, really lost a little bit of a connection to it. But the end of it, I love the end of it when the darkness took over the town, and then when it took over Emma, and then you see the shot of the dagger. I thought that was really cool and a fantastic ending. So I thought leading up to it was relatively, but I thought the lead up to the end of the show, of that episode was kind of weak, but the actual last 20 minutes so awesome. I really love that. As I said, the shot of the dagger, so cool. So anyway, these are my shout outs. So now let's talk about my top 5 favorite episodes. And I'm just going to tell you guys right out, these have no 4B episodes in them. I think 4A is really where the season is at its best, and they're literally going to be listed in the order that they aired. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys have to say, because I know there's a lot of you who enjoy the Queens of Darkness arc. I didn't like it, but you've heard my spiel on that many times. So let's talk my top 5. So the first episode I'm going to give it to, or number 5, and I actually have a criticism of this episode, is A Tale of Two Sisters. I think the flashback with Elsa and Anna was awesome. I love Kristoff. As I said, I think Elizabeth Lail, Georgina Hagg, and Scott Michael Foster are fantastic in their performances. I think they really, really capture the essence of the Frozen characters, and I really think that Frozen needs a spin-off. I love how it took place right after the end of There's No Place Like Home, I think was the finale of Season 3, Part 2. But anyway, I really just love how it took place right after that, how Elsa conjured the snow monster, how it started to deal with the outlaw queen issues with Marion and whatnot. Seeing the return of Sydney Glass was really, really cool. And Elsa, I think Elsa in the flashback was really strong, but to see Elsa in the present be kind of weak was weird. Now I get it, she panics easily, like that's her thing. But Elsa at the same time, you have to remember, is like 22, 24-ish years old at this point in the show, technically. And you would think she might try to, not conjure a snow monster and try to, gain composure and relax. That's like my only criticism of the episode. But again, it felt very, very much like Elsa. But I just freaking loved A Tale of Two Sisters. That shot where you see Anna and Elsa at their parents' grave, and then you look at each other. So awesome. The Elsa's outfit and Anna's outfits were so freaking cool. So Tale of Two Sisters is my first episode to discuss, number 5. All right, so number 4 would be Rocky Road. Oh, Rocky Road is awesome because we got to really see Elizabeth Mitchell shine here as the Snow Queen. That last scene when she's holding Hook hostage and, somehow she nullified Elsa's magic, which I think the show at some point should talk about. Even the premise of not even ice magic users, but just magic users, how you can just block one's magic without a spell or a potion. I really would love to see that sometimes brought up in the future. But I think the flashback with Elsa and Kristoff, remember, in the movie, Elsa and Kristoff never, ever spoke. So this was the show's interpretation of how Elsa and Kristoff would interact, and I think it was fantastic and so well done. The Snow Queen's reveal in front of Hans, and Hans was really, really cool in this episode. Yes, he was in this episode. So I thought Hans was fantastic. I was confusing it for a second with Breaking Glass, but no, Hans appeared in episode 3. So, when Hans released Ingrid from the urn, I thought that was such an awesome scene. Poor Elsa crying when the goo from the urn was coming to consume her. Again, such an excellent scene. Georgina Hagg was so great. I actually can almost quote the scene. So when he says, Arendelle, shouldn't be ruled by a monster like you, and like you see her at first not crying, and then when he says like you, she starts to cry. I'm like, oh, that's so beautiful and so well timed. And it also, Elsa and Hook have some really cool interactions, which just help solidify Hook's feelings for Emma. So I think that episode is beautiful. Beautiful flashback, beautiful present day experience, and I loved it. So next we go to Breaking Glass, which is my number 3. Now, Breaking Glass is interesting because I actually wasn't a super fan of the flashback, but it made sense overall for the grand spectrum of the show in Season 4, Part B. Again, not the biggest fan, but I understand why it was there. It made more sense to me to have this flashback here than to have like the Anna and David flashback. Again, I understand why in the breadth of the show, but I think the Breaking Glass flashback just had more prevalence in the grand scheme of the show. But the reason why I particularly like this episode is the magic battle. We finally got like a really cool magic battle in the show, like Emma and Regina melting the ice monster, Emma and Regina versus the Ice Queen, and the Ice Queen, or the Snow Queen, excuse me, was able to take them both on. Like, how freaking cool is that? The evil queen and the savior were both at a loss to the Snow Queen. Elsa was the Ice Queen. Like, that was such a cool scene. Elsa making the bridge from Let It Go. Again, an awesome, awesome scene. The end of it where Regina goes, Emma, I don't hate you. And Emma goes, well, that's start. Like, that's, again, another fantastic scene. There's so many great scenes. The bonding moments. I mean, this part of the season is lighter in terms of theme than the other ones. And that's obviously due completely to Frozen. But it's just so happy at some points. But it has like these sad moments that you're just like, oh, so good. So well done. And even the scene where Regina and Emma are on the bridge and Regina screams into the lock, goes, traitor! I thought that was freaking fantastic. But I really just love the scene when the Snow Queen takes on Elsa and Emma and Regina. I think, again, another excellent scene. Flashback, I talked about that. But it's weak for the episode because like you're kind of wondering like why is it there? But then when you look at 4 overall, like, oh, like that's a good episode. It's a very, very good episode. So number 2 is Smash the Mirror. We just did a live stream review of Smash the Mirror. I pretty much gave my thoughts on that episode there, but I'll rehash them really quick here. I think the episode in the grand spectrum deserved to be an hour and a half. It was essentially a movie. It was absolutely stunning. We got to see, the Snow Queen freeze over Arendelle and what happened to Elsa after she got trapped in the urn. Like, that was like the big thing I wanted to see throughout all of Season 4 Part A was why Elsa was put in that urn. And we got to see that here. We got to see how her memories got removed. We got to see Emma and Elsa have the best bonding moments of all time in the show. Like, these two are best friends, and that's why we need Elsa to come back, because I think Emma very much so needs a best friend again. She needs more than her family. She needs someone else with magic who understands what she's going through, and who's not a boyfriend, and who's not her parents, and who's not her son. Regina and her are, at this point, I get it, like sisters, or they're friends, but I think she needs someone that's not related to her on some level, whether it be her step-grandmother or her parents. She needs someone such as Elsa to come back, because the bonding moments that those two had throughout all of Season 4, Part 8, and that built up into Smash the Mirror were fantastic. That scene when Elsa tells her to love yourself, it's beautiful. The lights going around. Oh, it's such a fantastic scene in the grand spectrum of the show. It should go down in history as one of the best scenes, I think. And it should have won an Emmy. Those two should have won an Emmy. Again, Georgina Hagg and Jennifer Morrison are very, very strong actresses, and I think they should have been up for many Emmys, particularly for that scene. And also, just during that whole episode where Emma is like trying to control her magic, the scene when she's in Gold's shop and she burns the piece of paper or something, and like she's like freaking out the whole time. I love it. I really, really just love that episode. And then the end of it with the Snow Queen and Gold confronting each other. So awesome. I mean, the Snow Queen, I think, is one of the strongest characters on the show, especially at that point when she was absorbing the magic of Emma and Elsa at the same time. I mean, how freaking cool was that scene? And then she goes to the mirror, and then she just goes, boom, and it smashes. And I thought, whoo, so cool. But then we had to wait 2 weeks. We had to wait 2 weeks to get to see Fall. Now, Fall isn't on this list. I think Fall is okay. But I think Shattered Sight just blew Fall out of the water. Shattered Sight is such a strong episode. I absolutely loved Shattered Sight. And what I loved so much about Shattered Sight was the 5 minutes that led up to the Snow Queen's death. And that's just what made it stick out to me so much. The Snow Queen sacrificing herself, realizing that her sisters love her, that her family loves her, that even Emma loves her, was beautiful. And the backstory of the Snow Queen, that we got to see her in like different points in her life, also extremely beautiful. The scene when the Snow Queen died, I've watched many times. That score. Music on this show sometimes is very forgettable, it's sometimes very forgettable, but when it's memorable, you remember it. I'll never forget the score from Broken Heart, and I'll never forget the score from Shattered Sight. Ingrid's death was one of the most intensive scenes I've ever seen, and I loved it. I loved it so much. And then I think overall, just the development of Elsa and Anna, and the development of Emma in that episode. And then also we got like the evil queen, and we got to see people kind of act a little bit differently. Henry acted as kind of a goofball for being evil or whatnot, or corrupted. And that was kind of meh. And Hook obviously couldn't do it, and Rumple was already dark. But to see like Regina get back into to see Regina get back into her evil form, I thought was really funny. Then to see them all laughing about her at the end, again, really, really cool. So I really, really, really did love that scene, that episode. It's just fantastic. It's a fantastic episode. That's a 5 out of 5 stars for me right there. So anyway, those are my top 5 episodes. Shattered Sight, Smash the Mirror, Breaking Glass, Rocky Road, and A Tale of Two Sisters, all from 4A, all for obvious reasons, because you guys know so much, or know how much I love Frozen. So I'm really curious to see what you guys have to say about your top 5 episodes of Season 4. Thank you so much for checking out my top 5. A couple of you have asked me about the Frozen Northern Lights review. I have to see it. I haven't had the opportunity to watch it yet, but once I watch it, I will do a review of it, because I am looking forward to it. I thought the trailer was really, really cool. So thank you again for watching. I will try to get a Season 3 top 5 episodes at some point. I'm going away to Europe this Friday, or not the Friday before Christmas. The Friday after Christmas, I'm going to Europe for 10 days, so I won't be around to do any videos in that stand of time. I'll do a lot of Snapchats. If you guys follow me on my Snapchat, my Instagram, please do, because that's where I post a lot of stuff. I don't really tweet too often, but Snapchat and Instagram is where I definitely post. So this might be my last video for almost 2 weeks. I'm not sure if I can get a top 5 episodes for Season 3 out next week, but if I can, I will definitely try to do it. So anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing your thoughts. Make sure to check out the social medias. That'd be awesome. And thanks for watching, and we'll talk real soon about Once Upon a Time. If we get any more news, I'll try to cover it like I did the Q&A video. So thank you for watching, and we'll talk soon. See ya!